This evening, first, love, loss, and a deadly decision. A Berbice man is sentenced for the high-speed crash that killed his teenage girlfriend. Tonight, her grieving family gets justice, but at what cost? Plus, tragedy at sea. A young fisherman drowns after his boat capsized off the Corentyne Coast. What went wrong and who's being held accountable? Also, no more paper charts. The Georgetown Public Hospital rolls out Guyana's first cloud-based patient record system. Could this be the start of a high-tech health revolution? Meanwhile, election disinformation alert. GECOM is sounding the alarm on fake news spreading ahead of the September 1st vote. Why voters are being urged to double-check before they share. And trade tensions are rising. Brazil is feeling the sting of U.S. tariffs, despite buying more from America than it sells. What's fueling this economic rift? All this and more coming up on Headline News Update. Stay with us. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for August 7, 2025. I'm Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, a young Berbice man who caused the death of his teenage girlfriend in a high-speed crash last year has been sentenced to prison, bringing a tragic chapter to a close for the victim's grieving family. 25-year-old Naira Suglio of Lancaster Village, Corentyne, has been sentenced to 3 years and 2 months in prison after being found guilty of causing death by dangerous driving in a tragic 2024 crash that claimed the life of his 18-year-old girlfriend, Bibi Alia Ali. The sentencing was handed down on Wednesday by Magistrate Tanya Hardy at the number 51 Magistrates Court, following Suglio's virtual appearance. The deadly incident occurred on July 22, 2024, when Suglio, reportedly speeding and under the influence of alcohol, lost control of motorcar PAF 6330 while heading north. The vehicle slammed into a crane parked on the western parapet before veering into a canal on the opposite side of the road. Ali, who was a passenger in the vehicle, was ejected from the car and landed in the canal. Both she and Suglio were injured and rushed to the nearby hospital, but Ali was pronounced dead on arrival at the Georgetown Public Hospital. Suglio was hospitalized in critical condition at the Annamai Memorial Hospital. After months of investigation and court proceedings, Suglio was found guilty and sentenced for his role in the crash. This tragic case serves as a sobering reminder of the importance of exercising caution and responsibility on the nation's roadway. Speeding, reckless driving, and driving under the influence not only endangers lives, but can leave families shattered and futures destroyed. In other news, police are investigating the death of 22-year-old fisherman Tamish Tukredin of number 65 Village, Corentyne, after the fishing boat he was in reportedly capsized off the Corentyne Coast on Tuesday afternoon. According to reports from other fishermen, Tukredin was among 4 fishermen aboard the vessel when it overturned around 4 p.m. He fell overboard and could not be immediately located despite search efforts.
He repaired the boat, and the captain also checked the boat, any leak, and then gone out. And they gone out, when they gone out, just we hear that the boat torn over with a capsized or something. I don't know what correctly happened. And then next thing I hear him, not finding.
His body was recovered about 2 hours after by residents near the mouth of the number 65 channel. Froth was observed coming from his nose and mouth, but no marks of violence were found. The body was taken to the Georgetown Public Hospital, where Tukredin was officially pronounced dead. A post-mortem examination is pending. The boat captain, 32-year-old Ramesh Chunilal, is currently in police custody at the number 51 police station, assisting with the investigation. On a different note, the Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation has launched eCare, a cutting-edge electronic health record system that replaces traditional paper files with secure, cloud-based patient records. The initiative marks a significant milestone in Ghana's push to modernize its healthcare system. Announced by GPHC CEO Robbie Rambaran during a recent broadcast, eCare enables healthcare workers across departments to access and update patient records in real time, improving workflow, reducing paperwork, and enhancing transparency and accountability.
Every act of care we deliver is supported by the system we use And now, those systems are getting a much-needed upgrade. Today, I'm excited to introduce our new electronic health record system, eCare. This isn't just a technology change. It is a transformation in how we deliver care with greater accountability, transparency, and efficiency. With eCare, every patient will have one electronic record that follows them across various departments and specialty, eliminating repeated paperwork, improving workflow, and making it easier for a multidisciplinary team to collaborate.
The move comes as part of a broader government effort to modernize healthcare, including the construction of new regional hospitals and investments in AI diagnostics, robotic surgery, and international telemedicine services.
In the coming week, you will learn more about what eCare means for you and how you can actively participate in this journey. I encourage you to get involved, ask questions, and help shape this transformation with us. Your voice matters in shaping how we move forward. Let us move forward together to make this transformation a success for ourselves, for our patients, and the future of healthcare in Guyana.
The launch follows a $3.3 million contract signed in March with Rio Med Limited for the phased national rollout of electronic health records. GPHC and its satellite clinics are the first to implement the system, with expansions planned countrywide. To ensure patient privacy, the Data Protection Act was also enacted, offering safeguards against the misuse of personal medical data. Stick around when we return. GECOM warns against fake news ahead of September 1st elections, and 3 Hazelton families receive new core homes through Housing Ministry program.
Man, why the two of y'all look so gloomy?
Uncle Joe, you know thief man been in we house and thief all we valuables, including we ID card. Now election come wrong and we want to go vote. We ain't get no ID card to identify ourselves. Now we can't go vote.
Well, you need to apply to GECOM to have your ID cards replaced. But you need not worry that you won't be able to vote because you don't have your ID cards. GECOM has put other measures in place to accurately identify voters like you who may not have the ID cards.
But how they gonna do that? How they gonna know is we name on the list if we don't have ID to prove it?
In addition to your ID card, voters can present their valid passports or valid driver's license if they have these.
Really?
But further, GECOM has placed your photograph alongside your name on a folio which will be at the polling station. And if you go to the polling station without a photo ID, you will be asked to state your name and address. The elections official will look at your face and then compare it with the photo alongside your name on the folio to confirm that they are the same. Then you'll have to answer some questions to verify your identity. If the election official is satisfied that you are the person who you claim to be, you will be allowed to vote after taking an oath of identity.
So you get to vote?
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-02779 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Our smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Mill Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
Who's the
problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, Lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again. Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. With the general and regional elections just weeks away, the Ghana Elections Commission, GECOM, is urging citizens to stay alert and resist the spread of misinformation and fake news that could undermine the democratic process. GECOM says a surge in false narratives circulating on both traditional and social media poses a serious threat to public trust and the integrity of the upcoming elections set for September 1st. The Commission is emphasizing the dangers such disinformation presents, warning that it can cause confusion, weaken confidence in democratic institutions, and discourage voter participation, calling on voters, political parties, civil society groups, and media outlets. GECOM reaffirmed its role as the only reliable source for accurate election-related information. To counter the spread of misleading content, the Commission said it will continue to release verified updates through its website, official press releases, and social media platforms. Citizens are strongly advised to fact-check all election-related information against GECOM official communications before sharing or acting on it. The Commission also appeals to all Guyanese to think critically and rely on trustworthy sources as the nation prepares for a crucial vote. By working together, the statement read, we can protect the integrity of our democratic process and ensure that the September 1st elections reflect the true will of the Guyanese people. Moving on, President Dr. Mohamed Irfaan Ali on Wednesday commissioned a state-of-the-art $850 million water treatment plant at Parika, bringing 24 hours access to safe, treated water for more than 14,000 residents across Region 3. Built by Toshiba Water Solutions America Incorporated, the plant can process up to 4.5 million liters of water per day. It will serve communities including Ruby, Bushy Park, Hydroni, Salem, Lookout, and several others. Calling the plant another installment of delivery, President Ali said the investment is part of the government's broader push to improve public health, dignity, and quality of life in a rapidly developing region. The Parika facility is one of 3 new water treatment plants completed in Region 3 alongside Wales and Parfait Harmony, with others under construction at Legon and Vreeden Hope. Existing facilities at Fellowship, Pordroin, and Virgin Eugene are also being upgraded. The initiative is part of an integrated water resource management strategy that focuses on strengthening Ghana's long-term water security through improved infrastructure, better power reliability, and enhanced service delivery. The water from 2 newly drilled wells is now treated to reduce iron levels, ensuring both safety and consistent supply. Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell also pledged the government's continued commitment to delivering clean, reliable water to every household in the region. In other news, 3 families from Haslington, East Coast Demerara are now proud homeowners after receiving keys to brand new houses under the Ministry of Housing and Water's Core Home Support Initiative. The program is part of a broader adequate housing and urban accessibility program executed in partnership with the Inter-American Development Bank. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell presented the keys and electrical certificates during a simple ceremony at the ministry alongside senior officials from the Central Housing and Planning Authority. The beneficiaries, including Ms. Maylene Odell and Ms. Yvette Abrahams, expressed relief and gratitude for the life-changing opportunity. Odell, who previously paid $30,000 in rent, said the home provides financial relief and long-term stability. Each core home, valued at $5 million to $6.5 million, features 2 bedrooms, a kitchen, and indoor bathroom facilities. Beneficiaries contributed just $100,000, making it an affordable path to home ownership for vulnerable families. Adequate Housing and Urban Accessibility Program targets the construction of 300 core homes and the disbursement of 916 home improvement subsidies across several communities between Georgetown and Grove on the east bank of Demerara, Hope on the east coast, and parts of the west bank of Demerara. Don't go away after the break. Brazil halts U.S. trade talks as the Lula condemns new tariffs, calls for a global response, and Indonesia's garment industry seeks new markets amid U.S. trade tariff uncertainty.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lenders, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Sneak in with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services, 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Friend, hi, give me a minute now. I want you to clear something up for me.
Okay. What is it, ma'am? Why you look so confused?
I hear all this talk about elections and voting, but I really don't understand how this could affect me.
All right. It's like this. Once you were registered by GECOM and you were 18 years or older by June 30th, 2025, you are entitled to vote, provided that you are listed in the official list of electors.
Well, I registered and I'm over 18, but how I would know if my name is on the official list of electors?
That's very easy. GECOM is displaying the official list of electors at two popular places in the community where you live. Just go there and check the list. Or you can go to GECOM's website and use the search tool.
Oh, well, thanks. I'm going and doing it now. Yeah. My name on the list. I definitely voting at elections.
Nice.
For more information, contact the GECOM on 225-027729 or visit www.gecom.org.gy.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world.
Good evening, I am Nikita Ford. Welcome to our regional and international news segment, which keeps you informed and up to date with a trending news story worldwide. Lawrence Sarcy, a wealthy businessman, was sworn in Thursday as president of Haiti Transitional Council, placing the private sector in control of both executive branches. His appointment triggers gun threats, gunfire in Port-au-Prince, and raising fears of unrest. UN-backed forces also lost 2 vehicles amid escalating violence and widespread displacement. Meanwhile, in South America, Brazil has been hit hard by American tariffs, despite the U.S. exporting more goods to Brazil than it imports. Al Jazeera Alan Fisher reports.
That minute of calm, that moment of relaxation, is about to get much more expensive in the United States. New tariffs imposed on coffee from Brazil have been announced by President Trump.
I do believe that the U.S. does need to manufacture more goods. So I agree with that. The policy on tariffs to help to encourage that, to restrict and make it more expensive to not manufacture goods that should be manufactured here, I do agree. However, coffee is not one of those things.
The 50% hike hits an industry already struggling with prices rising because of weather-related shortages. Many companies source their coffee in Brazil, not just the big chains, but smaller places like John Kinnairds in California. So now a $10 bag of coffee becomes $15. That may be too rich a price for many people to pay.
I would call Brazil the entryway into the coffee world because of the price point consistency, and so now it's going to be harder to get into the industry. It's going to be harder to find a good business model because a typical coffee shop margin is only about 5%.
The US actually has a trade surplus with South America's biggest economy. It exports more than it buys. And that's led many to accuse Donald Trump of imposing tariffs for political reasons, to punish Brazil. for prosecuting his ally, former President Bolsonaro, accused of trying to stage a coup.
They come with a request from Lula that's not commercial, it's political, and a request that is undoable for the executive branch in Brazil to intervene in a judiciary process that's investigating and now prosecuting former President Jair Bolsonaro. That's unusual. The other thing is that Brazil has a deficit, a trade deficit with the United States, which also makes the commercial argument less strong.
Current Brazilian President Lula da Silva says if America won't buy his goods, then he'll find someone who will, suggesting America is going to struggle more with Trump's tariffs than his intended target. Alan Fisher, Al Jazeera, Washington.
Brazil President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva says he plans to call the leaders of China and India to discuss a joint response to the new U.S. tariff. Al Jazeera Monica Yanikev reports.
In an interview Wednesday, a defiant President Lula said he would not reach out to Donald Trump about the punitive tariffs being leveled against Brazil. Lula accuses the U.S. president of using economic pressure to interfere in Brazil's internal affairs, specifically to halt criminal proceedings against former far-right President Jair Bolsonaro, his longtime ally. Bolsonaro is on trial for allegedly plotting to overturn the 2022 election he lost to Lula.
Let me tell you something. A president cannot humiliate himself for another president. I respect everyone. I demand respect towards me.
The new tariffs impact 36% of Brazil's exports to the U.S. Lula says it's an outrageous attempt by Trump to hurt the economy. Bullying, pure and simple.
The President of the United States thinks he can dictate rules over a sovereign country like Brazil. It's not acceptable for the United States or any country, big or small, to give an unsolicited opinion on our sovereignty.
Trump and several U.S. officials have defended Bolsonaro, calling him a victim of political persecution, despite overwhelming evidence against him. Tensions escalated this week after Bolsonaro was placed under house arrest for allegedly violating court-ordered restrictions. Brazil's Supreme Court views him as a flight risk. In Congress, Bolsonaro's supporters staged a protest, vowing to block all legislative activity until an amnesty is passed for both Bolsonaro and the rioters who stormed government buildings in January 2023, calling on the military to oust Lula. Lula accuses the Bolsonaro family of sabotaging U.S.-Brazil relations for personal gain. Bolsonaro's son, Eduardo, has been lobbying U.S. Republicans to impose sanctions on Brazil's Supreme Court. Trump responded by adding 50% tariffs to existing sanctions.
I think Bolsonaro should be judged on other accounts because what he is doing now is to turn the United States against Brazil, affecting the Brazilian economy and Brazilian workers. And his son should be condemned as a traitor to the country, a traitor to the homeland.
Meanwhile, Brazil is preparing contingency measures to support domestic producers and exporters hit by the tariffs. These include financial aid and government purchases of perishable goods, such as fish, fruits, and honey. Monica Yanakiev, Al Jazeera, Rio de Janeiro.
Factory owners in Indonesia say they are already bearing the brunt of the uncertainties caused by the U.S. tariff. Al Jazeera Badabilo reports.
For nearly 30 years, this garment manufacturer in Indonesia's Central Java province has had a steady stable of clients. Most of them are US-based clothing companies that supply some of the world's best-known brands. But the past few months have been tough. The factory manager, Dedi Mulyadi, says some customers have been canceling orders.
Of course this policy was unexpected, because with this tariff war, all of our estimates have been thrown off. We usually export to the United States, and now with the tariff war hitting our regular market in the US, it has affected our margins.
In April, US President Donald Trump imposed a 32% levy on Indonesian goods. But under a deal signed last month, it was reduced to 19%. Within weeks, however, other Southeast Asian countries struck similar agreements, essentially leveling the playing field.
What we know so far, Trump is really unpredictable.
he can change his mind overnight and so on and so forth. So at least for the current situation, 19% is still understandable, although it's not necessarily fair.
Daddy says the rapid changes to trade taxes mean there's no room for complacency.
We are taking on brands that aren't related to America, such as brands from Japan and Europe. So that is our goal, to look for new market prospects and start approaching countries that are not American markets.
Hopes of attracting Chinese manufacturers have faded as well.
What's the benefit of relocating our investment to Southeast Asian countries if they also get the same tariff rate as we get in China? Right now, I think China is still at around like 30%, and then they still do negotiation with the US, and right now the progress remains positive.
Indonesian officials have expressed similar optimism, saying they're confident they can negotiate better terms, despite settling for concessions that critics say are disproportional. Barnaby Low, Al Jazeera.
Thanks, Nikita. This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-Event Forecast. And that's it to TV2 Headline News for this Thursday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. You can tune in tomorrow at 6:30 AM for a rebroadcast and at 7 PM for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other.